Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sunday, November 10th, or as we say, oops. I tell you, it has been a tough week, but what are you going to do? You have to wish the other side well, um, make a fallout shelter. But we will get through this. I've been reading some wonderful things out there in the world and some great advice. And bottom line is, whoa, sorry about that. My computer slid down. But the bottom line is, we have our families, we have our dear friends, we have the things we love. And I'm going to have plenty of time now to do my creating because honestly, I found that if I am creating, I don't have as much time to worry. So we will see what we can do, and then we'll fight and get our rights back that we're going to lose. But let's hope everything goes well. I wish everyone well. And I got to tell you, I had some really sweet notes this week. And my favorite, although they're all my favorite, but our Ms Jo said in my honor, she went out and collected fall leaves and she sent me a picture of them. And I'll show them to you at Show and Tell. That touched my heart so much. I just got all choked up because she knew it would be a rough Wednesday and Thursday and every day since for me. But you know what? You do the best thing. We did the best job we could. It's like England dealing with Brexit. Thank you. And so you do what you do what you can. You do what you can. So hello everybody. Marsha's here. Uh-oh, Marsha, it doesn't list you as moderator. Let me change that right now. Let me see. Add as moderator. I hope you won't mind being a moderator again because we love you as moderator. Yay. Yay. There's Alberta. In fact, we have some wonderful pictures. Our dear Alberta and her quilt group down in Alabama are making quilts for the North Carolina hurricane victims. That was another, there's so many good people out in this world that I love y'all so much. Uh-oh, Marsha, I'm waiting for you to turn into a moderator. Come on. We got to have our Marsha be a moderator. Let me see. Now it says she's one. It just doesn't highlight her. I don't know why. Oh, well, I hope I'm on the right channel. I've got to be honest. I changed my picture this week on Google and then realized now how will I know the good Google channel versus the one I don't use. So we shall see. Hello, everyone. There's Marsha's all highlighted now. Yay. And there is Diane 57 is here. So Mary, would you mind if I read what you wrote me that you learned on voting day? Because it was beautiful and it's such a good reminder. Oh, good. Okay. So I copied and pasted it to my agenda so I wouldn't forget. Mary wrote me this email that was absolutely lovely. It says, I dropped off our ballots at a local voting place and saw two Asian Americans taking pictures of each other under a sign that read vote with an arrow pointing towards a door. They had been inside voting where no pictures were allowed. These two young people, probably in their early 30s, were both laughing and crying. They were saying over and over, "We just voted, and we voted how we wanted." That told me they were from communist China, and they came here, went through all the channels to become citizens, and this was their first time voting. I got in my car and just cried. That touched my heart so deeply. How they wanted to vote. So many people have died for us to be able to say that. 100 years ago, a lot of women were making a lot of noise for the women of today to exercise our rights. So I just think this is beautiful and reminds us we are fortunate enough to have the right to vote. Let's make sure we use it. I was watching something about Susan B. Anthony, who worked so hard to get women the right to vote. She sadly died before women got the right to vote. So, it's just amazing. So, hello, we're putting one foot in front of the other. This is going to be our happy place, our safe place, and it will be fun. And oh, so my week was a little strange. My daughters and I have been texting and daily to make sure we're all doing good. And my sweet granddaughter didn't know what to do with herself. She's still a new voter. And so she said, "Mom, I want to stay with you." So my daughter Becky took her into school with her to work with her. And I thought that was, so we're all just pulling together and rounding the wagons. And I think that's important. So we've done what we can. So I want to go back and see Mary. Thank you, Mary Kimura. Thank you so much for that beautiful thing you wrote me. I was so touched by it. Polly's here. Joni's here. Alberta, Marsha, and Diane 57. So good to see her. Lisa, hi, Miss Lisa. Poor Lisa. Let me tell you about this Lisa, because I wrote to her to tell her I got this. I got the sparrow quilt class, and I'm so excited. And so I was thinking of writing. Oh, I've got to now figure out what colorway and what fabric. And then I thought, wait a minute. I'm writing this to Lisa, who right now I don't think she can live in her house because hurricane, I've forgotten her name now. Helene. I think I tried to put it out of my mind. But the hurricane damaged her house. Not only just damaged her roof, oh, we've got to fix the roof, damaged it structurally. So I thought, Deb, if this was ever a first world complaint, this is it. So my having to find fabric for a wonderful quilt class in January all of a sudden changed from being a complaining to a joyful, I'm losing my words today, a joyful treasure hunt. There we go. That will do it. So, what can you do? What can we do? We're trying. So, oh, thank you about the thumbs up. Oh no, I forgot to take it off of I forgot to take it off of monetization. Let me see if I'm taking it off. All right. I just took it off monetization. When the show is over, I'm going to see if I can go back and put it on monetization. But Ms Jo last week said it's really irritating. And when I read, not everyone gets a commercial at the same time. So it's too important that we have this time together. So I will see if I can monetize them after the show when they go back to video, so to speak. Okay. So anyway, I have to remember to try to see if I can monetize it after we're done talking. Because you know what? Commercials interrupt our meeting, because I consider this a virtual quilting bee. So anyway, let's see. Oh, that's right. Oh, you got a new phone. That's why, Marsha. Okay. So happy Veterans Day tomorrow. We honor all of the wonderful veterans that have come before us. And so let me see. Betty Meisner's here. Oh, it's so good to see all of you. It really, really is. What's the Teflon sheet you have for your machine? Oh, yes. It is upstairs. Do y'all, okay, let's go to our wonderful, knowledgeable friends. I have this sheet that I bought from Myrtle Beach Quilt Party, the vendors, that you peel off the back and it's kind of sticky and you can renew the sticky and you lay it on the bed of your machine and it allows you just to move your quilting or your like we used it when Polly was over, we used it for the thread baskets. So it allows you to move easily over surfaces. So let's say you're doing free motion quilting. It allows you to move it around. Oh, good for Dan, Marsha. That's wonderful. So if anyone knows names of it's not, I don't think it's really Teflon. I'm not sure what it is. It looks like green plastic and it has an opening for the needle to go down in. So if any of you know those names, I think it had sewing in it and I'm not sure. I'm sorry. But I bought it back at the quilt show. I think I got it from the quilt show. Yeah, because I think I wanted to spend something. But you have a queen quilter. Oh, so you have the queen quilter that moves. Lisa's doing the sparrow quilt in red. Just haven't decided if they will all be the same fabric or if I'll do different red fat quarters. And you know what? If you think about it, okay, so your queen quilter is pink, and that's the thing. Yeah, so anybody, I think I know what you mean about the queen quilter. Um, it has a woman, a brunette with a crown on, I think, and but yeah, if any of you lay down a plastic sheeting kind of thing on the bed of your machine so that things glide over it more easily, pop in and write that into the in directions. I think my arthritis, this finger suffers from arthritis, and I think that I don't know if the weather changed. I don't know if it's just sensitive or if the arthritis is flaring back up. So I was thinking about it. This is not osteoarthritis. This is definitely different. Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's a green one. And the one I have, and it's pretty big. But I have juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, and I thought it just went away. I was diagnosed at 16, I think, and it would flare up so bad. Okay, good, Polly. It would flare up so bad that I couldn't bend my knees good and all this. Well, I noticed the doctor wrote on my chart that I was in remission. And I'm thinking this is the juvenile rheumatoid arthritis popping out little bits. So I'm sorry. If you see me rubbing my hands, just know that my hands hurt. So what can I do? All right. So, all right. I am so glad to see you here. I've got lots of things to show you. One thing I am going to send my daughters, and I thought this was so good. So I typed it up and printed it out to show you. Sometimes when life is hard and you just can't figure out how to feel about something or you feel overwhelmed, I this week have been feeling very helpless and a little hopeless. So I just wanted to show you this is a wonderful, wonderful saying. And it just reminds us if it gets to be too much, then you have to say, what is mine to care about and what is not mine to care about? And I thought, you know what? That's it. I can only, here is a pattern piece that I lost the other day in class. And I just happened to look over and there. I didn't have this when I needed it, but I drew another one real quick. I have got a new to me machine over here to show you. I'm so excited about it. I took a class the other day. I have that to share with you. And so, and I might end up being a little shorter today than normal. We'll see. You know, I get talking but because I got a UTI this week. For about a week, I was thinking, am I getting a UTI or am I just not drinking enough water? Well, I thought, I've got this retreat coming up. I'll be out of town for it. Mark will stay here and take care of dogs. Oh, good. Contractors started repairs Saturday. They started the roof work, so hopefully we will be done in the next few days. Oh, thank God, Lisa. Thank goodness. And then, so once it's weathered in, then they can start on the interior work. Oh, wow. Lisa, that's got to be so, so tough, hon. So, so tough. And I'm just looking forward to making sparrows with her at the Myrtle Beach quilt party. But I was telling you a couple ideas. Okay, whoops, back to I called my doctor Thursday, or actually, I texted her, sent a message through the portal we have. I love this new modern stuff, and said, I think I've got a UTI. I've had the symptoms for a week and I thought it would go away, and it hasn't. She called in medicine and said, if this doesn't work, come and see me. You know, I said, no problem. So she called it in Thursday, and I got a note from the pharmacy saying, we don't have that medicine in stock, and we're going to order it. It could take up to several business days. Well, wouldn't you know it, that by the next day, I'm really starting to feel bad. I'm starting to feel sick. And then my stomach, my bladder, I could feel my bladder hurting. And then my back kind of started to feel achy. And I thought, please don't go into my only remaining kidney, please. And so I didn't end up getting that medicine till 3 days later, Saturday. And then I'm reading the medicine, and there's all possibilities of things that could go wrong when you're taking it. And I'm like, oh my God, please. This is all too much for Deb. It's just all too much. But Mark has been so good to me because I just didn't feel good. And so yesterday I just took it easy. Luckily, Friday night I had baked a chicken. I didn't bake it in time for that night's dinner, but I said, I'm going to bake it anyway, get it done. We can have it tomorrow. So the nice thing is I said, he was like, why are you up doing stuff? Because I just had to do something. And we had asparagus and baked potato with it. So that was really good. It's sometimes there's nothing like a roasted chicken, it's just nothing quite tastes the same as a roasted chicken. So tonight we're having the leftovers, and I can't wait because I made up some gravy. Yum. So anyway, so I'm on some powerful medicine, and I thought if I start feeling, oh my gosh, my Charlie, my granddaughter sent me a picture. I want to show you. One time I did. I'm glad I looked at this because I know it's kind of rude to look at it but no, normally people know I do a show, so, But I wanted to tell you that one time I did a mystery quilt. I was really hung up on mystery quilts. in the 2000s. Really loved them. And it made me a much better quilter because instead of looking at the whole project, you look at one step at a time. So when I was going to make one of the quilts, I said, I'm going to pick my two least favorite colors and make this quilt. My two least favorite colors were pink and orange. This is the quilt that I made from that mystery quilt pattern. It was a free, whoops, hold on. I'm having a hard time getting it lined up. Everything's backwards. So this is the mystery quilt that I made. And it's hard for you to see, but it is pink and orange. So isn't that neat? So anyway, um, I'm glad that she sent that to me. So it's so nice. And you know what is nice that I want to get some other quilts finished and out to my family so they can enjoy them. That's much better than just having them sit here. So I'm supposed to leave tomorrow morning to go to this retreat, and I'm just a little puny. I'm moving slowly. So I think I might not get there early. I might get there a little late, but Mark's helping me get packed up. I tell you, there's a lot you have to take when you go on a retreat. It's like, and Mark takes his motorcycle trips, but all he can pack is what will fit on that motorcycle. And here I fill up the entire back of the Honda Odyssey minivan. I mean, the whole thing. We put the middle seats down and we fill up the whole thing. It's like, really? So, okay. So let me show you a couple things. And for Mary Kimura, I did between the UTI and the election, I did not even think about touching my undersea quilt. So I owe you an apology, and I promise we are going to work on it. I promise. So last week I was talking about making a thin stripped landscape. Okay. And this is just a good example I saw. Here are the pages that I made and printed out. And I keep forgetting to put this on the site, our groups.io, so that if you want to use this to design whatever landscape you're going to do. And you could print it on Landscape Way if you wanted this length landscape. I was doing it. Mine's going to be a sunset on the lake, so I wanted it vertical. But and I'm trying to think how I did this. I think I did it in Word and just managed to find a way to double up the lines. But I will put this so you can just print it out. You could always print out 2 copies and then cut it and turn them. I always try to find a way. How do we make this work? So that's one thing that we're going to work on. Another thing that we are going to do is I want to do some of this 3D embroidery. Okay. And don't worry, we're going to finish because I've got an octopus to finish. And I've got to tell you, when I was taking the class the other day, one of the people there said, "What is that on the wall? It looks like, under the ocean." So I brought the undersea quilt that I did last time, the one with the whale eye. I brought it over, and we were all done with the class and just chatting, and they wanted to see it. And it was so much fun to show them. So anyway, but I'll get ready. I'm going to show you what I made in class and tell you about the process. It was really, really nice to show the class. It's a Mancuso virtual classroom, which I am a huge fan of. Here is the class, and there is the teacher, Rachel Durston. And it was a great class. Now, I was a little depressed, and so I was like, oh, I don't want to go down and take a class. Oh, I don't want to get dressed. I don't want to. I had not prepared for the class. That's not like me. And the class started at noon. It ended at 6. I came down here with only 10 minutes before the class started, and I'm starting to pull fabric. And I have not even really, I mean, I've looked at the paperwork, but reading it, nothing sunk in. I started taking that class and I love it. I was just coming out of my deep funk by taking the class. And I thanked her afterwards. I said, I almost didn't come on to do the class. I almost just was like, whatever. I said, but it was the best thing I could have done. By the end of the class day, I was feeling so much better. And I've heard the lady Kate Jackson from the Last Homely House say sometimes you just have to get out of your head and into your hands. That is so true. So anytime you're having a rough time, pick up something to do with your hands. There's a soothing that happens when you do that. So I'm very, very happy about that. Okay, you will see my color wash quilt is my chair went the arm of my chair went under my desk and pinned my sleeve. Okay, so you see the binding is on, and I looked, well, mostly on. There's still some clips over here because I've only hand sewn the binding, not quite, well, I guess it is just about halfway, almost halfway. I looked at fabrics, and decided that a black binding was best. Some of the darkest blocks had some black in them. And I said, you know what? I didn't want anything that would compete with those beautiful blocks. And I don't know, Diane 57, I don't know if you have been here since we've decided to do this. See all the stuff I've got started packing. But this is something that I think back in June I saw and knew I wanted to do. And then in July, I think I started. And you like the black border? Oh, good. Because it gives it a finish, it gives it done, but doesn't compete. So, but I looked at rainbow stripe fabric. It just was too busy. This is the star. So, and then I'm going to tell on myself. I love grading fabric. I started out as a clothing sewer, and I love grading fabric, but you can't grade but so much on quilts. Thank you for the cranberry juice. Yes, I have some 100% cranberry juice, and I've been pouring a little bit in my water, and it does help. Thank you, Diane. Y'all are so sweet. Gosh. Oh, how did I quilt it? I quilted it by doing an outline stitch on the heart-shaped centers. And then I started following it. It's a big swirl. It starts here, it goes down, and then it comes around like this. So that's how I did the quilting. I wanted it to follow the motion of the quilt. And I think it does pretty good. That was tricky to figure out when you have it on the frame because I don't have that big of a throat space to use. But I had to try to remember about where, I started everything like this. And then here I had to start coming up this way to do it. But I love, love, love putting on the binding. Absolutely love it. For me, it's like a celebration. The quilt is just about done, and I sit there with it laying on top of me. Ah, it's just a very special moment. It's like at the end of the day when you had your little children or baby and you would just let them fall asleep on your chest. That's what doing a quilt. Hello, the Siberian wind. Yes, I think I do remember. Oh, thank you. And I did it. Okay. For some of you who might not have been around when I started it, what it was is I happened to see Kate Jackson talk about Terry Rowland, and she was doing a color wash. This is called color wash because you're just kind of blocking colors and making them move throughout, like wash throughout the quilt. And I heard her, and she was talking about Terry Rowland. So then I went to Terry Rowland's site. She is the queen of color wash quilts. And please, if you go see her site, tell her that I sent you because I absolutely love her work. And I've thanked her. And she came and saw in one of my titles, I said Rowland style color wash. She thanked me for using her name, but I love giving credit where credit is due. And I never would have thought of this without her. What I did differently is I took heart-shaped fabric and tried to cut the color that more closely resembled the color block I was working with. And then instead of making each block one scrappy color, I tried to do light and dark within each block to kind of give them to give it a little sparkle. And so when it's totally finished, I'm probably going to hang it up here and you'll be seeing it about every week. So, because I just love it and the colors are so beautiful. I love rainbows. So, this quilt has given me more joy these past 3 or 4 months, 4 months, I guess, that I've been working on it. It's given me more joy than probably any other single quilt. Some have come close, but this has been a joyful, joyful quilt. So I highly recommend it. I'm going to be doing it again too. I'm not sure when because I still have plenty of scraps. So, and I might try a slightly different colorway. So it's a lot of fun. So Terry Rowland, Rowland, Terry Rowland. She's amazing. So go check her site out. All right. If you type in Terry Rowland and color wash, it'll pop right up because that's a very popular pattern she thought about. All right. So we're going to do 3D hand embroidery. All you're going to need is some stuffing or leftover scraps of batting and fusible interfacing. Okay. And I'm going to show you how to do this because I've been figuring this out. And then if you can buy, I always worry about you spending much money on some of these things because you might not like this particular skill. But you can go to even Amazon and look for one of those off name bags of DMC floss, or what should we just call it? Cross stitch floss. It comes 6 strands to a thing. You can get, if you look carefully, you can get those for not much, probably more than 10 now. I think I paid 10, but that was a while ago. But wherever you go to shop, you check and see if they have one of those multicolor, like 100 skeins or 100 colors. And then some kind of pretty fabric. And then I'm going to figure out how we can draw the pattern on. We may just have to trace it through the fabric, but you can get some sheets of transfer paper. You can find transfer pins, but we'll check all into that. But this is what I'm thinking of, once we can, I think what we'll do is we'll do the thin, as I'm finishing up the undersea quilt, we'll also start the strip landscaping. Okay. Because I did one before and I didn't plan it or lay it out right, and it still came out striking. And it's like, oh, something looked like the moon that wasn't even supposed to be the moon. But hey, now it's a moon. So So then I'm going to talk to you about the virtual class I took this week. And I was talking about Mancuso, and I want to support them in this because they did this during the pandemic when we were bored to tears. We couldn't go to quilt shows. They did a virtual quilt show. I was hooked from the beginning because I don't live close enough to any of their major venues. I would have to go and stay in a hotel, which cost money. You know me, I'm extremely frugal. So I love supporting. The class was a 6-hour class. It cost me $90 for the class. That's the teacher's fee. And then they charge a $20 registration fee because they handle all the paperwork, take in the money. They are the ones that email you your list and your instructions, and they are the one that pays for the Zoom coverage. So compare that, an all full day class. Compare that to going to a quilt show, staying in a hotel, and traveling back and forth. This is a joy. You can do it at home with your bare feet. So I love that. So I will be showing you that in just a moment. Now, the retreat is coming up. I'll be back next Sunday. I'll be coming back Saturday around lunchtime. Mark's going to stay here all week, take care of the dogs. This is nice because I just need to get away a little bit, And my grommet, for whatever reason, I think he knows I'm a little sad. He has been laying on my feet lately, and he's 30 pounds. So it's like, oh, gee. So even though I'll miss him, I'll kind of like having the bed to myself. But anyway, but I'll be back Saturday and I'm going to take a picture. I love the big show and tell that they do. There is a woman there. All the quilts are beautiful, but there's a woman there named Carol who is the most, you say, prodigious. She keeps up a full-time work schedule just for quilting. So she gets up in the morning, she does her few chores, she comes down, she works, she takes a lunch break, she comes back, she works until dinner time. And this woman produces an amazing array of gorgeous quilts. So I'll make sure to take pictures of the show and tell there. And then when I get back, we'll start working again on the undersea landscape quilt because I'm so excited about. I'm going to make a 3D octopus arm. So one of his arms is going to come out of the quilt and go back in. So that should be fun. All right. So there, I think I've read everything to you. Now, all right. So I've been having problems with this Juki DX7. And what it is, they run, I think new, you can see them anywhere from $1,100 to $1,300. And it has the presser foot float and pivot feature. And it's the least expensive machine to have such a nice feature. The problem is the thread cutting system can be wacky sometimes. And Polly will tell you that she's had a problem with her bobbin. I think her problem, she has a better machine than this one I'm talking about. But sometimes with the thread cutter, if it doesn't cleanly cut and release the thread, it'll slowly get tangled there, and all of a sudden you'll start to sew and it reaches the maximum tangle, and the bobbin, they call it bobbin jumping. The bobbin jumps up and can push the clear little bobbin cover up from the machine. And it's very startling, and the needle binds, which is not good. It can throw off your tension. Well, since I have had that machine, I have spent more than I paid for the machine in constant repairs. And it just may be a lemon. I'm just not sure. But what I'm going to do, which Lisa reminded me, make sure to talk to Juki. And I'm going to. But Mark said, Deb, we're not putting any more money into that. We're putting good money after bad. We're not putting any more money. You're not going to try to fix it and pay for it again. So, and I got it I just had it repaired 2 weeks ago. I came home, I sewed on it for an hour, and the bobbin jumped again. And you know what it's done? Have you ever had a car or something that just kept acting up? I now hate that machine. I just hate it. Her bobbin case is broken twice on her. So it is a little glitch in the thread cutting mechanism. And I'm going to pursue this because right now, my $1,150 machine is a boat anchor. It's a doorstop. And I didn't pay that much money to have a doorstop. Now, Juki has one of the best reputations in the business. But unfortunately, in those, my machine is more like travel size. It's not the big machine. But I got it because I wanted that feature. Since I do thread painting and applique work, I liked that anytime I stopped sewing, the presser foot would automatically lift up a little bit so I could turn and rotate the fabric. I really wanted that. I have been sewing since I was 22 and I'm now 68. And that's a lot of sewing. And when my kids were little, I made all of their clothes. I mean, smocked stuff, suits, everything. I even made my son, when he was a senior in high school, I made him a zoot suit out of cranberry satin. That that earned me money, a Mother of that Year award, let me tell you. But anyway, I got to the point where I was so dejected. I was so sick and tired of it. Now, I've got an Elna, and I think she's an Elna Pro, and she's either 700 or 720. I've had this thing for almost 19 years, and it still works very good. But she does have a thread cutter, but she doesn't have any of the upgrades after that. And the problem is the button to push to get to cut the thread only works one set of 4 pushes. So I said to Mark, "Oh, do you think you could look at that?" He goes, "I can't do electronics. I wouldn't even want to try." So, and at 18 years, she doesn't owe me a thing. She used to be on my very first quilt frame, and she did my quilting. So Mark and I have been talking about this, and he said, "I'm going to get ready to retire. I want you to have this sewing machine stuff straightened before I retire, because right now I don't even like looking at that machine anymore. I just can't take it." And as Polly will tell you, when they mess up the bobbin case, the black bobbin case that sits down in there, they run anywhere from $70 to over $100. And in fact, the last time I got it fixed right before August, and I bought a bobbin case on my own through Amazon, and found, yes, it worked, but then it started right back to doing it. And when I just took it in, he had to replace that. I had to pay another $100. So it's like, this is crazy. This is insanity. So I will be getting a hold when I come back from our retreat. I'm going to be serious about getting hold of Juki, because I don't want it sitting in the house. I don't have room for it. But I hate to, is there something they can do at all? So, we'll see. My daughter said, well, maybe you could sell it like on eBay as a mechanic special, because it works perfectly, except that if you didn't use the thread cutter at all, you'd probably be fine. But I want to use a thread cutter. And if I pay that much for a machine, I want the thread cutter to work. So I looked around, and I just happened one day to open the email for So It's For Sale. It's the group's IO, So It's For Sale, SEW, So It's For Sale. And I love that site because that's a place where everyday sewers like all of us come, and they can sell, barter, search. You can put out a search. I need this particular fabric. Does anyone have this? Whatever. Well, I happened to open up the email, and this was like Thursday, maybe last Thursday. And there was a real fancy brother machine on there for sale. And then there was a Juki QVP 4000. And so I wrote to the woman about she wanted $2,000 for it. And I've got to tell you, it sells new for $3,999 unless you've got a special deal. It's with this machine, I could not have afforded brand new. I would never have spent that money. I mean, we need a new roof. You know what I mean? Okay. So I talked to her about it. She was so smart. Her name is Cindy. She sent me a video of her sewing with it. And that was smart. And then I asked her questions, and I told her my sob story of my Juki DX7. I hope I said the right thing. It was my Juki DX7 that's acted up. And I still have a Juki 600 that I love. And that's my travel machine. And so, but I asked her questions, told her my sob story, and said, look, I don't want to buy another machine that has problems. I just need to sew. And so she gave me all the information from it. She said that she was an Elna machine person. She got this one because it was so nice and had so many bells and whistles. But she said she really wants to go back to Elna. And so I thought, okay. Now you always get a little worried, am I trusting that they're not going to sell me their lemon? But she was so nice and so forthcoming. I asked for pictures of everything, asked her if she could pack it back in the box. So I asked her, I said, I'm probably going to have this looked at by my repair person. And I said, is that the best you can do? She said, whereabouts are you? And I told her Winston-Salem. Well, she's up in Southern Virginia. So we were an hour and a half apart. And she said, I'll give you a discount if I don't have to ship it. And so we each drove 45 minutes, met in the middle. Lovely, lovely woman. I got to tell you, oh, hi, T. Rich. You made your kids their graduation gowns. Oh my gosh. That is pretty darn good. Oh, Polly paid $90 for her bobbin cases. So, yeah, because I had thought about a Janome myself because I used a Janome for 20 years. But anyway, would you like to meet my new baby? I haven't named her yet. I'll have to figure that one out. I've never been a machine namer, but a lot of people like doing it. So here is my new baby. And I am so grateful to Miss Cindy. She took such good care of this sewing machine. It looks virtually new. I'm so pleased. So anyway, let me show you a little bit. It's got these interesting like stainless steel color sides. And you notice all of the air vents because this thing has a computer that's smarter than I ever will be. In fact, here are some more air vents. And then it's got this flat lid, but when you open the lid, there it has, whoops, let me loosen this. It's where you put your thread and wind your bobbins and all of that. And this has a button let me bring the light over here. It has a button here that drops your feed dog electronically. And when you do, the little green light comes on to remind you. Here's the thread cutter. Here's the needle up and down. And there is the pivot lift system that I am crazy about. Yeah, it's the Kakochi, which means pleasant experience or something like this. Oh, that's cute. So now watch. I'm going to, but I love this flat space because maybe I can use some kind of tape to put all my knitted things my kids make me, my little knitted animals. But I'm going to turn the button on, okay, and watch what happens. So it's plugged in, but it's not, the button is not turned on. Okay. So watch this. Whoops. I do have it. Oh, I didn't plug the, I was going to say, no, don't work, but it really helps if you plug it in. So let me get this over here and plug it in. All right. Here, now it's coming on. My other Juki said hello. Now, the first thing you notice, no lights are on. Let me turn off this. Okay, so no lights are on. It first says it wants you to push the OK so it will adjust the needle position. This is how it starts every time. So watch what happens. I'll push the OK. There we are. What? I can't believe that I got all of this for $1,900. I feel like the luckiest person in the whole world. This, okay, let's say you're sitting here and you've forgotten how to do something for it. Well, you can push this and bring up the instruction manual. Now, right now, you're seeing little lines rolling up. That's just because the camera catches every little interval. But I can do this and bring up the manual and check out anything I want. Okay. But not only that, hold on. I didn't bring down a stylus. Come on. There we go. Okay. I can adjust the brightness down. I can adjust this screen's brightness up or down. And then if you want, if your eyes are sensitive, you can adjust the color of the lights. I want to try to stay in the white because I feel like it's going to do a better job of, I think it'll do a better job of letting me see true colors. But it has a bobbin thread detection sensor. You can determine how high that you want the presser foot to raise up every time you stop the machine. It can be 6, 8, or 10 millimeter. Okay, and then let me see if I can. It has a history thing, but then let's just say you want, there's a digital tutorial. Let me see. Up home. Oh, it's not hooked. It might not be hooked to the internet down here. Yes, this is the different internet than upstairs. Okay, so let me go back. If I hadn't hooked this to the internet down here, if it did, it will go to videos telling you how to do things. It will take you to tutorials, how to sew a certain, like different projects. It is the craziest thing, let me tell you. All right, I'm going to have to remember setting. Let me see. I like that everything is pretty straightforward. It even has a sound volume and the stitch speed, but it also has the slide button for stitch speed. But anyway, it also, when you're going to change the needle, it has a lockout feature so that you can make sure that it's not going to somehow come on. A machine log of all the different stitches, what language. I mean, it's got, whoop, don't do that. No, 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 no. I didn't want to do that. I'm probably going to have to. I touched the wrong thing. So anyway, And yes, it was nice to pick it up instead of having it shipped. And she was so sweet that she gave me the discount for that. She's such a lovely lady. I'm hoping she's going to pop on here at some point and say hi to us, or her mother will. And I told her I don't want to lose touch with her. She's a neat, neat lady. So I've got to push this okay again. So it comes up. So anyway, I was looking to see how I was wondering how I could set the internet, but now I don't remember. But oh, here it is. Okay. So let me see. Maybe this one. Let me see if it'll connect. But I don't think the one we have upstairs is not as strong as the one I use down here. So it might not, and I don't want to waste time for that. But when I get back, I'll show it to you. And let's see. Oh boy, I always forget the password. Okay, so and here, this is good. I don't know. All right, but I think it. Do I need all of this? I mean, it looks like it could teach me Japanese. I don't know. But honestly, I'm excited about, like, in sewing. Um, it can tell you, like, let's say this is a straight stitch one. If it does have the little round knobs down here, so presser foot pressure, you can set with this knob, and then stitch length. You can vary the stitch length. Then the thread trimming, you can, I don't know if this automatically does it. I have to read some more. Presser foot lift, like I've got it off now, but if you want to, you put it on, it'll automatically lift every time you stop. The thread tension, look at this. This has a wheel. You do this, which brings your tension up or back. And I want to show Polly something. Let me grab some fabric. I want to show. Okay, here is some fabric. And so I'm going to stick it under here. I'll put the two pieces together. All right. And thread tension. I'm going to leave it like that. I think it's good enough. All right. So I'm going to sew, and I want Polly to be able to hear how quiet the thread cutter is. So, and then that's it. My DX7 always thunks, makes a terrible thunking sound. So I think I'm going to enjoy this very much. Also, I can do the fancy things, like if I'm doing applique work, I can set it just the way I want and then do a history. So then I can save it. And then the next time I start sewing again, I just come back, bring it up, and I'll have them listed, and I pick which setting I want it to use. So, I just thought I would check and see if this, let's see. Can I get to the Juki website? Let's see. All right, here is the Juki website. Oops, no, let me see. Maybe, of course, it's going to try to sell you a new machine, tell you about expos and shows, find a store. But then in here, people who are doing neat things on Jukis. But where are the, I haven't tried to see where the free patterns are yet. Let me see. Home. I'll go back to home. Oh, register the warranty. I wonder if I can do that still. Huh, where are the free patterns? Because I thought that was really cool that they had some patterns. All right. Well, I think I've bored you enough. So I thought I would just show you this. And I can't believe I did it. And knowing me, I am going to feel so guilty to spend so much on a machine that I probably won't buy fabric for at least a month. Now, I feel very fortunate. It was like, oh, Mark, are you sure we want to do this? And you know what he told me, which was a very smart thing? He said, this is who you are. This is what you do. So get a good machine. We'll see how it goes. I love the woman who sold it to me. She really took beautiful care and represented it beautifully. So let me go back to home. Oh, hold on. Let me see if it'll do this. It has instructional movies. So if you want to learn, oh, the most important thing, it has a built-in walking foot. Can you see this right here? When you engage this, it you it I don't know yet whether it just does straight stitching or what, but like this has videos of what the machine does. So if you're oops, open app again. Hmm. Oh, it's showing. Okay. Well, I don't think my signal is strong enough to get it, but I do like that I'm a visual person, so I did read the short manual, the quick startup manual that kind of gets you going. I read that from cover to cover. But all right, now I think I can. Yeah, my signals, my 2G down here is just not strong enough. All right, so that is that. Thank you for letting me show you that. And I guarantee you that'll be the last machine I ever get. I promise. I promise. And it's 33 pounds. A little heavy. So it is definitely a machine. You park it and you work around it. So I put in an order. I knew that I wanted to get the right bobbins, class 15, and good needles to use for this machine. I don't want to take any chances with it. I found this supplier online. They've been around for years and years. And sometimes you can smell the catalog. But anyway, I went to their site. Ladies, let me tell you, because Mark said, get good needles, get good, the right size bobbins. I found these packs that it takes a class 15 bobbin. I found these packs of 10 bobbins for like $3 and a few cents. Really amazing. Yes, I can't imagine wanting any more than what this machine has. Look, but I just thought, you know what? With this being such a big machine, I bet you they'll have the thread cutter will have worked out beautifully. So here are top stitch machine needles. I don't think I brought down but these were between two something or three something each. Top stitch needles are the best when you're going to do free motion work, thread painting or thread sketching. because they have a long needle hole guide that keeps the thread from breaking easily. So I got 1 pack of 12s, 2 packs of 14. The Schmetz needles were $2.65 a pack of 5. So as you can see here, I got quite a few. And because I knew I needed a 130-705H needle. And I got size 12, size 14, another 12, 12, 14, 14, 16, 16, and 12. So I went ahead, and these were like $2.65 each pack. And I think the top stitch might have been, these are the Class A, I guess you pronounce it. And I think these might have been 3 something a piece. And these were $3 and some cents. So now I have 30 bobbins, and I'm going to use these for that. Now I could have gotten Juki named bobbins somewhere else, but they're expensive. And as long as it says it needs a class 15, I get a class 15. Then I was looking through to see what else they had, and they had this on clearance. And you know, I'm doing some of that Sashiko, although I haven't done it in a couple months, but I'm planning on it this winter. And I thought, ooh, Sashiko in the khaki color. And these were $1.54 each. I got 2 of them. So I thought that was pretty darn good. And that, again, I'll tell you, you can look them up because I thought their prices were remarkable. Wawak, and I ordered these Wednesday, and they were here Friday. I couldn't believe it. It was $5.95 shipping, which to me is very reasonable. Oh, here we go. Here is my receipt. All right. Yeah, the Class A, the top stitch needles were $2.95. And I did pick up some milliner needles, but they were a little thick. I wasn't quite as happy with that. But then I apologize. The 10 pack of Class 15 bobbins were $2.68. And the Schmetz needles were $2.65. So that, and look at this catalog. They have zippers, they have threads. I figured I'm gonna check out the threads because if the prices on threads are as good, hangers, iron supplies, I mean, they've got everything. So when I find something good, a good company like this, yay. And you know, see this double-sided tape? I've noticed when I watch Juki videos that clothing makers over in Asia love using the double-sided tape because it helps you make sure that seam stays right where you wanted it. But anyway, I just thought I would show you this. I was very impressed. The service is amazing. Way to go. I was very happy with it. All righty. So now, let me try to get this machine back a little bit so we can see to do something else. Whoops. Hold on. Come on. Don't be difficult. All right. All righty. Whoop. No. Now. I'm going to have a talk with this stand. Okay. Here we go. So the class I took, Twists and Curves. And this was just a supply list. And then this color sheet is to show you where to do the background colors. So, and this doesn't mean do this background color. It's just to show you where to cut, what section to use for these. Keeps all your twos together with 1, 1. You know, it ones and twos. In fact, this part we cut out separately. And it gives you a nice curved, spacious background. This was one section. The pattern piece that I found that I had lost the other day is this one right here that I had to make one for at the last minute. But this just tells you what sections. Now, well, let's start at the beginning. because she sends, when you take her class, she'll send you the pattern, or I guess I'm sure it's in your fee, the cost, and you print out 8 sheets and you tape them together. This you never cut. This is you keep it here so that you can always know where the things should be. And what I would do next time, I should have, is maybe take markers or something and kind of color code it this way, because if you didn't color code it, you wouldn't know what shape to cut, how to cut the pattern out to get the right shape to have these fit. She's done all that work for you. So then what I did is took freezer paper and made another pattern. And you know what? I accidentally ironed this together. Let me see if I can get this to come apart. But this one I decided to go ahead and keep whole because I'd like to try this again. And but what I did is I put an iron down to kind of to try to make it lie flatter to put it in the package. Well, unfortunately, it had Scotch tape, which melted. And I'm going to try to heat it and see if I can't carefully open it again, because I want to show you this one. This one I did, let me bring the camera down a little. This one I put colors. I did the color coding. All right, now let's see. Right here, let me see if I can get this to come up. I might not. Oh, a little bit better. Oh, let me try it again. But freezer paper is wonderful. And I drew this and didn't want to cut it up, but I could have cut this out. Well, it's not coming out good. That's just because I put the hot iron on it and it melted the tape. But, okay. I'll be able to kind of fix it back later. But anyway, so I made this out of the freezer paper. Now, then I went ahead and used freezer paper again to make just the individual pattern. Like this is piece number 7. So you see this shape right here. Here is that piece, okay? So each of these has a section. Now, you will see that there are circles drawn on this. But what she does now, she used to cut out that circle shape and insert a circle. But then she said she had a class revolt. And they said, wouldn't it be easier just to put this together and applique the circles on top? So she now does it that way, which we were really grateful to. But here is this piece in the 2s. There's that one. And you know, you can save these because you can iron them. What you do is you put the shiny side on the fabric. Now, she wanted us to have the shiny side up and put this on the back of the fabric. But, you know, I don't always listen closely, and I wanted to be able to color on here without it rubbing off, because if I color on the shiny part, it tends to want to rub off. But anyway, so I just put it on the front of the fabric, but just as long as you're going the right direction. And here is another picture of one of her works, and they're really quite striking. So she recommended, and I highly recommend you take the class. I think it's wonderful. I know if any of you are going to Mid-Atlantic, she's going to be giving a class at Mid-Atlantic. And she's wonderful. She gives you lots of little tips and hints. And I tend to be a very shy student. I like to sit in the back row and kind of figure it out on my own. And because I'm always nervous about not understanding what she says, but she was great. I understood her clearly. And so this is the one I said, I had not prepared ahead of time. So I kind of said, I'm going to try to kind of go along with what she's doing. And the reason this class is so much fun is because you can make these circles any way you want. And what she said is she likes using 2 to 3 fabrics, and she said you get a much more dynamic. Hi, Nancy Lynn. Oh, hello, beach sun. Yay. And so she I kind of just followed what I had seen she did. She said try to do coordinating, what do you call it? The colors that are directly opposite, complementary, directly opposite the color wheel. So that's why I have some blue and oranges and purple and yellows. Okay, so that's what I saw in her one picture. Now, what I need to do now is to figure out. So then I took and I used some of my Steam-A-Seam too, and I had a piece of paper, and I started trying to come up with ideas to make interesting circles to go on this. So this has this fabric right here, but then also, and batiks work beautifully with this work. You want to keep these fabrics kind of modeled, not too busy, not too sharp. Solids work good. Oh, she did some quilts with ombres that were beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So I found what are some of my coordinating fabrics, especially they have purple and orange in them. So I made this. And then what I would do when I go to sew this down is just very carefully iron this over. Let me get this iron going. But honest to goodness, she made this easy. She really made this easy. And so it needed 8 circles, large, medium, small. So here's another design that I did. Anything to try to make it look striking, I wanted to do. So here's this. I think that's pretty striking. Mark didn't like this one, but I did. I wanted a bright yellow because I felt like the composition needed some more yellow or orange down here. It was so dark down here. Then she said stripes are a lot of fun. So I found this really weird fabric I bought one time and thought, it's perfect. It has the colors in it, and blue and purple. And then I wanted to add a bright pop of color. Then I had this that's supposed to look like a batik, but isn't really. But I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. And then there was a woman in the class that and don't worry, I'm going to take these off later. It shows pretty bad. But a woman in the class did her own thing on some of her circles, and I saw she had done something like this, and I thought, that is so cool. And then here is a batik that had the yellows and blues. So what I've got to do, I was going to get y'all to help me decide where these need to be put. But the problem is I've got this big sewing machine in the way. And it's like, darn it, that's not right. And then doing the curves were not as hard as you thought. And I should have taken a little more time, but I was playing catch up. And you pin the curves at the beginning and the middle and the end, and then start pinning and kind of ease in the fabric. Whichever fabric has the most fullness, that goes, you sew it with that side up. So when you, on a curve like this side has the most fullness. See how, because all of this has to fit. This fabric has a long curve to wrap around, but this is the fuller side. So you would sew this when you pin this together. you stitch on this side. And that way you can prevent any puckering, things like that. So just remember those. And then she said if you ever have a curve that you're trying to do that's too difficult, sew it by hand. Then, hi, Michelle the quilter, sweetie. And Bonnie's here. Yay. And so she said, sew it by hand if you have a place that's hard to do. So actually, I did that. I had this blue area along this side, and it had to meet here, and it came and went out and in. And so I sewed the whole thing by hand first. You see the double stitching. Did it by hand first, and then put it on the machine. Right. Okay, adjust. There it goes. So I did it by hand, then came and did the machine. And did the machine just outside the hand sewing so you wouldn't see my hand stitches. All right, so these, you want to have it modeled or, let me come back here. You want to have modeled or solids, so that your circles can be a contrast. Okay. Okay. So here, and there are 8 circles on this pattern. And also, she has websites, Rachel Durston, and I'll hold her name up again so you can see it. But she has Peg. She has websites. So, okay. So here, I know I'm going to want to put this yellow somewhere down here. What I would do is iron this over again so it follows the edge of the paper so I can get a nice smooth. Just iron it and it'll pop back open, but it'll have a crease. And then what I was doing was pulling this back and pressing it onto the steamer seam. Oops. You know what? You see where I have 2 fabrics right here? I should have made sure to cut this part away so this would touch on this the steamer seam too. I can still do it this way. It's just going to be a little thicker and heavier. But what I would do is take and press this, and the steamer seam too is sticky enough to hold it. So I would press this down, make sure I have a nice smooth round edge. And then when all of this is pressed back down, I can even just touch it just with the tip of the iron. Because let me show you, because you don't want to touch the steamer seam too. Okay, so just the tip of the iron, touch it. All right. And then keep going around, tucking this under. Now, this is where I brought a skewer to see if the skewer can help me. But let me get it going first. But anytime, you can use their little finger protectors, finger cots that are supposed to guard against the heat, or you can use a skewer. I'm the kind of person that really likes to be able to touch and feel it and know exactly what it's doing and where it is. Maisie, quit. I don't know what's outside, but they think they see something. All right. But see this, if I had, before I put this steamer seam on here, if I had trimmed off the back of the fabric, it would have been perfect. As it is now, it's going to be a little bit tricky. But this is what she does. You're going to take the fusible and iron this into place. Then you can use yarns, you can use decorative threads, and you can applique it down, or you don't even have to tuck this under. You can do raw edge applique. You would just cut it even with the steamer seam, and she said that way it shouldn't unravel. And So anyway, here all of the edge has been turned under. I just have this tricky part of the fabric to kind of, that's not going to want to act good. Now I could go back in and put, I could go back in and either put some, I think I'll do some glue. Hold on just a second. I think I'm going to do a little line of glue to hold this in place. Okay. I remembered realizing, oh no, I put it on a double layer and then trying to see if I could get the steam machine off and I couldn't. So I said, oh well, it'll stay. And you know me, it's like my plans change all the time. What happened? How do I fix it? But I don't ever want my sewing to be a stressful thing. All right, so now we have the circle. And I know I'm going to put it down here. I'm just wondering what direction. I think I'm going to kind of put it like this. I wonder. There's so much purple here. I think I'm going to put it about right there. Now all I do is drop the iron down on it. And then I can either use like a rayon thread and do a real pretty satin stitch all the way around this, or I could just do a regular stitch just to make sure it holds and come in with yarn. I could pick one of these colors of yarns or pretty some kind of pretty decorative thread. Oh, Diane, that's cute. Poor Diane's dogs are barking at my dogs. I don't know what was out there, but they thought there was something. Now I'm wondering, should this go down? I don't know. But I need to probably pin these guys up here and just then figure out exactly where I want them. Then press them down but you can do, she took and used specialty threads or yarns and sewed along the seams. She did beautiful. Let me see if I've got anything close enough. Let me see if you can see this. Let me pull this lamp over here. All right. So you can see the yarn that goes right through here and it goes down through here. Look at the yarn along here. See how the striped fabric really works? Then she used yarn on these creases, but she also did beautiful free motion quilting. So it's just really pretty. I think I do want to get one more of a light blue and put up in that corner. But do you see all of these? And she just did them all like this is one pattern here, stripes there. This has two different fabrics, this too. It's kind of neat, and you can just play with those. Then if you want to do beading or sequin work, anything like that. So it's a lot of fun because you learn to do couching. And I don't know if I have a couching foot, but I'll be checking. But here you can see where a peach color or pinkish color yarn, she went right across the blue and down and around and right across this darker purple. So look at that same yarn going right across here. So it's just, whoops, let me get it right in front of the camera. Good. But I think that's awesome. All right. So just wanted to show you what I did for my class. I loved it. I was worn out by the end of the day. 6 hours is a long time. We got a 20-minute lunch break, but it was fun. It was so much fun. And they were talking about, we should ask them if they could break up the class into like 2 segments or something. But I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I learned a lot. And mainly for me, it's just letting go in a class type setting because I get a little nervous, afraid of looking stupid. but but anyway, that was a lot of fun. So I'm hoping it gave you some inspiration. Go check on her site. I'm sure this pattern is available. Um, or like I said, she's going to be teaching at Mid Atlantic um, Quilt Show and Festival. And so I would take her class. It was a lot of fun. I said, "You were a lot of fun as a teacher." She put you at ease. I love when teachers are just fun loving and gentle and complimentary, and it was fun. So, all right, now it's time for show and tell. So let me get this. All right. Oh, and I forgot to show you this, but here is your little attachments and feet that came with the machine. I'm in a little tiny part of me is a little embarrassed because I've never had something this nice. I guess I deserve it, huh? But like Mark said, it is what I do. He said, "Where would I?" He said, "Where would I be without my motorcycle? We have to have things that bring us joy." And if that is the truth. All right, so here we go. And let's bring up your. Oh, I just never thought I'd have something that nice. Goodness gracious. I'm a lucky girl. So, all right. I told her, I said, if it hadn't been for you, I'd never had this nice a machine. Never in my dreams did I think. All righty. Let's see my wonderful people's work. I got a couple new pictures in this week. Somebody went to our website. Where is show and tell? Here it is. Someone went to our website and put the cutest Believe Christmas quilt up that says Believe. I couldn't figure out how to grab it. So if you made the Believe, I think it was like a Santa kind of elfin kind of thing with Believe on it. It was so cute. So please send me that picture by email if you can. And my email is ourtimetoquilt at twc.com. I'll write it on before we end the show. But this is Alberta's, Miss Alberta of Alabama. Her quilt guild is making quilts to send to North Carolina hurricane victims. I am so touched by that. So this is going to be a baby quilt, and it's one of those cute little rag quilts. And then let's see the next one. Here's the back of the fabric. But how sweet. I mean, they have gone right into hurry up and build it mode. This one's already been quilted. This looks ready to go. So that is just beautiful. And I'm sure it's going to be soft and snuggly. I love that. So thank you, Miss Alberta. You are a doll baby, let me tell you. You are a doll baby. All right, so she's our first one. Then we're going to go to Bonnie is making, wait, let me see. I don't think I have anything new from Betty, but just to remind you, so you don't worry that I'm going to forget the undersea quilt, is we're going to do some more of these really fascinating fish. So we are going to get busy. We're going to make seahorses and octopus and jellyfish and clams. We're going to do all these little things, and we're going to use the fabric to make it fun. Okay, and here is her first one that she sent us, which I fell in love with. Look at that lame on that fish. Isn't that cool? So I'm so excited for this. All right, now let's go to, you know what? I think I need to have this lamp on, but we'll see. We'll see how it works. So that was Betty. Then Miss Bonnie is learning an ancient technique of round braid making. So if you can see this piece, it's got edges that you can put strings around and then bring them over. Whoops. Let me try. Okay. And then bring these over the edges of the cardboard. And then she does some kind of round braiding. I have no idea how she does it, but I love that her SCA work has her learning so many wonderful things. And that's the cool thing about Miss Bonnie is if you can learn it, she will do it. She will definitely do it. And here is a bag that she made to go with her SCA group. They're the Ravens, I believe. Okay, and then let me go to her black work, which is exquisite. And this is also because it's kind of a time period that they loosely represent, and it just is gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, so that was Miss Bonnie's. Love that round braid. I cannot imagine how to do that. And let's see. Oh, I got so tickled at this. You know that our Debbie did her confetti fall quilt. Really, really cute. Love it. And I didn't even think about the fence and pumpkins. And look at her son. How cute is that? It's a very happy quilt. But look at what she sent me. Is this beautiful or what? I love this. I said, I think I'm going to have to make a quilt of that. Because, you know, me and my flamingos, which I fell in love with because of the Myrtle Beach quilt party. So I love it. So thank you, Miss Debbie. She sent me a lovely email this week, too. I've got the best people in this group. My gosh, what good, gentle people. Then Dolores, for last week, sent in her pictures of fall leaves because I was like, I made a comment that, go out and pick up some fall leaves, be out in the weather and look for the beautiful colors and just have it renew your soul. So I love that she did that. Really, really beautiful. Okay. And then, and keep that in mind because I'm going to come back to that. Let me see. Oh, Joni's, oh my gosh, her beautiful fall quilts. I just want you to look at all of hand stitching. It is amazing. I'm gonna try to bring it up just a touch. Whoa, that it has a slip bar now, and it's just look at those leaves. Is that amazing? The colors. And so she put some cloth leaves and then did hand embroidery stitches over. Look at that. And then, whoops, no, I want to bring it. Look, no, don't do this. I'm going to bring this up. Look at these hand embroidered pumpkins. And it looks like she put fabric down and then emphasized the fabric with stitches. And look how the raw edge fabric makes it look like grasses and dried hay or straw. And just beautiful. So we love this, Miss Joni. Beautiful. And then this one, which just takes my breath away. I cannot imagine. Doesn't that looks like one of the impressionists. I could just see them over in France. I mean, that is just beautiful. The road is so beautiful, winding into the woods. All of those trees, that is a true work of art. I'm hoping she enters it in the show because it's gorgeous. And then the embroidered pines in the middle. Oh, that is just so beautiful. Mm. Okay. Now let's see. Miss Julie sent me a new. Yep, she sent me. Miss Julie sent me some fall pictures. And here's this one. And Miss Julie sent me a lovely email this week. What a dear lady. And she just She was a wonderful warm wind beneath my wings, and thank you for that. Look at these beautiful fall colors. And then to celebrate Veterans Day, she made this. Isn't that amazing? She was trying to look at how to make the metals with the fabric, and I mean, it's beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I love that. And it was raffled, and a veteran won it, I think she told me. And I just love all of you who do things to volunteer. Um, you are very, very special in my eyes. Okay, I think Miss Mary, yes, Miss Mary did send me. You know, she's got a quilt buddy, which I love that she's sewing with a quilt friend now. And here are some mug rugs she made, a bunches of them. Then look, she took leftovers of yarn and made one blanket out of them. And I think it is wonderful. That looks so cozy. And here's another quilt she made. She's teaching a woman how to quilt, and it is so nice to have a sewing buddy. How nice. So thank you, Miss Mary. They're beautiful. Okay. And then Miss Melanie. Here is the quilt blocks she was showing us before now have been put into a quilt and are going to go on the quilt frame to be finished. Isn't that wonderful? And here was her Willow, the hot dog dog with a relish t-shirt. That's her Halloween costume. Isn't that cute? And she's such a good dog. She's like, okay, you can make a fool of me, Mom. I think that's precious. Just so cute. Okay, let's see. I think that I have something from Pat Fry. Yes, her wonderful, wonderful. This was her July 4th decoration with this beautiful toy truck. Oh my gosh, I love that. And then look at this fall. And I just, those eyeballs on, let me bring this picture up just a touch. Those eyeballs on those flowers just tickle me to no end. But isn't that sweet? I just love that. So way to go, Miss Pat. Okay, now let's see. Miss Polly, yes, she sent me some. So, she did 2 leaf quilts. This one I showed last week, but it is amazing. I love it. And honestly, that purple just makes this quilt pop. Isn't that amazing? That is beautiful. I love the piece background with the leaves floating down on the front. Just beautiful. Then look at this wonderful seascape she did, and cheesecloth for the waves, which she did beautifully with. I mean, you feel the motion. Then her quilting, it really gives you a sense of that wave. Beautiful. Way to go, Miss Polly. And then look at this. I just love the way those leaves pop on this quilt. And you look at the tree and the bark going up the one side. Look at the acorns. Isn't that great? So way to go, Miss Polly. That is beautiful. I tell you, y'all are doing some fabulous work. Oh, and I just wanted to show you real quick. I knew I had seen it. I had to think about it. Look at her. Look at her. There's a name for that. Her weaver's frame. Loom. Look at her weaving loom behind this chair. Isn't that exciting? Oh, I always wanted to learn how to weave, but I think it is a little bit beyond me. So, but she's really good at it. The problem I have is I have a short attention span and it takes a long time to set a loom up. The weaving is like the final part. The setting it up, there's a lot of work. Okay, so here is our cute. Now I thought SJ might have sent another one, but I'm not sure. But It's her Halloween quilt that is so cute. Way to go, Miss SJ. You did it. You did it. Okay, and then there's the back of it. I love that. Love it, love it. Okay, now go back to show and tell. And our last one is Miss Vicky, who just has done a beautiful job with her quilt. Look at this wonderful dress quilt. Isn't that just beautiful? I love that. And don't forget, she's famous. So Dana at the Lake had a show. Was it Dana? And look, she ordered this to learn practice stitching. So she'll be ready for our 3D hand embroidery. But she knew I was going to be sad the other day, Wednesday. So she went out and she said, in my honor, she picked these leaves and brought them home, took a picture and sent it to me to cheer me up. Isn't that the sweetest? I just love you gals. Y'all are the best. So, and here's another one of her amazing quilts. But okay. So that is our show and tell for today. Now let me get my lamp back over and get this back over. And now I've got to pack for my retreat. So I'm just going to, ouch, that was my elbow. So I am just going to get to the retreat when I get there and keep taking my medicine. But, yeah, we need to stay very busy or else, thoughts kind of come in and I don't want to think those thoughts. I'm doing really good at staying away from the news. It's like, Deb, take care of yourself, stay away. So, but you know what? As long as I have you guys, we've got this made. We can handle this. So, thank you for joining me today and putting up with all my silliness. But y'all are the best. Thank you, Miss Bonnie. I wish you were coming with me. So I will have a very good week and I'll feel better too. Somewhere by Wednesday, I should be feeling better. I'll have enough of the medicine in me. But I tell you what, don't mess around with antibiotics. They have to make them so strong now because they've been taking too much over time and we're kind of losing that war. So be very careful when you're given antibiotics. Take them until you're entirely finished, unless your doctor says for some reason you can stop. So I'm going to be very, very good. So I will feel better very soon, I'm sure. But thank you for spending this day with me. I think I'm going to take the color wash quilt up tonight. And when I get real tired and sit on the couch, I'll just quilt it. I mean, put the binding on, finish putting the binding on, because I just love that quilt dearly. And it's not finished until it's labeled. So I will be making a label for it. Take good care of yourself. Do something just for you. And just have a good week. Take good care of yourself. I'll be here next Sunday with a wonderful show and tell from the retreat to show you, okay? And I'll try to take more pictures this time too, just so you can get more of an idea of what it's like. All right? Take good care, and you mean everything to me. And let's just lean on each other. If we're having a bad day, reach out to each other. So that's the best thing about friends. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.